This video is an introduction to the front end of Lightpseed called POS, which stands for point of sale. This is where you actually make the sales. So the very first thing to understand is down the left you have categories, and you just press these to go to each category. And on this screen here you have all your items, and over the right here is where you have your receipt. As you ring up items, they'll start populating here, and the big blue button down here is where you check out. Also up the top here is search. It doesn't matter which category in, you can type here, anything with CH comes up from any of the categories. So you can search up there. Just familiarizing yourself with the different types of items. If an item has a V on it, it means that there's variance. So when we press cappuccino, there's a variant which is normally size or color of small and large. And then see how this has a plus on it. Anything with a plus on it has option sets. So when we press that, cappuccino has 3 option sets. In this case, we've got milk type followed by coffee extras and coffee sugar. Now, see how it says choose one? We cannot sell this item unless one of these things is pressed. If I press save down the bottom right, it says at least one option must be chosen for this item to be sold. So if we press full cream milk, and then we go on to the other 2 option sets, there's no minimum or maximum requirements. We could have, for example, extra shot and half full, whatever. Over the right here, if we've made a mistake on any of these options, we can just press the X to get rid of it. And coffee sugar down here, if somebody wanted 1.5, you'd go 1.5. And when you're done, you go save. We've also got in this system the prompt for order type. You can press away just to ignore that. And if you did, you can go back to by pressing set order type here. This can be made either as a prop-up or as a voluntary selection. If we have a look at some other items, see these items don't have pluses or variants on them. So I can just press these items. If someone wants 2 nachos, I can press nachos again, or I could go up and press the item in the receipt window here, and that brings this up, and I can just change the quantity here. And then you go apply changes. If we've made a mistake with anything and we don't want to start all over again, like the onion rings should not be there, you just press the onion rings and you go remove, or you can swipe on an iPad. Also notice here there's a button here with an M on it. Everything inside an option set is actually a modifier, which this is, but this is an on-screen modifier, which they're not that common these days. If I just get rid of this item, this whole order, and by the way, if I wanted to delete an entire order, I press the cog down here on the bottom right, and I go delete order. So we're starting afresh, and you should always start with this blank, always. So if I just press gravy, it says select a normal product first. You can't sell gravy by itself. If you did need to sell gravy by itself, someone comes back later to get a jug of gravy, you need to set it up as a separate item. It could be like sides on their own or something. So we sell potato chips, and it's a dine-in, and it's got gravy, and see how that goes with that item there. Now let's just have a look at some of the other features. See the little cog down the bottom right here? That's where we can do delete order, or we can do things down here like surcharge, doing a manual surcharge. And when you press surcharge, you've got a percentage or a dollar. So if it's a surcharge, it's normally a plus. So 10% adds 10% surcharge to it. I'll just delete that order. If you were doing a discount, you would press that and you go discount. And if you want to take a percentage off or just a flat amount of money off, say 10% off, or change it to dollars, and that's $10 off, whatever, you go OK. So that's discounts and surcharges. There's also the ability to add tips here as well. Cash drawer just opens the cash drawer. Email receipt, it's fairly logical. If someone wants a receipt, you can just email it to them. Subtotal is a way of printing a bill. it's a little bit confusing. But if you've got held orders, now let's just talk about held orders. We'll go through a takeaway situation where, or pickup, someone's phoned in and they're coming to pick it up later. Let's just say they're having this and it's going to be pickup. They're having this, this, this. Now they're paying later, so they're not going to pay now, but we need to get this off to the kitchen. We want to put a note as to who it belongs to, and if they're an existing customer, you can press this Add Customer. But here, this little notepad just allows you to put a special note with each order. So in this time, we're just going to type in Fred and save, and then we're not going to check out because they haven't paid. We go send, and it goes to the kitchen. When Fred comes to pay, you'll see this orders up here. You go orders, and there will be all the orders that haven't paid, and you press Fred, and then we're going to check it out. So we press check out, and it's going to be with cash or other means. Now I just want to show you, see how it's $34.98, and we go check out. These 4 buttons up the top here are guesses as to what they're going to give you. If they give you, if it's $34.98, logically you can imagine someone's going to give you exactly $35, $40, or $50. If, for example, they give you something weird like $50.50 for whatever reason, you can go more cash options and you go 50.5. You don't need the N0, and if it was 50, you just need 50. But in this case, we'll do 50.5. Go OK. And it tells you what the change is there. And that change will stay up there until you do another sale. I do often get asked, how do you get rid of it? You can't. And it's there to help you, remind you, because if you're chatting to the customer and you forget what the change is, it's always going to be sitting there for you. So that's that send function. You can press add customer. You have existing customers here. You can add customers on the fly very easily. You go new customer. You need a name and at least an email or a phone. Okay, so that's how you add customers. Some of you may have tables, and tables, however you've got them set out. And some systems default back to tables so that there is always a table pressed. And some systems default back to the user, so you have to press the user in. In this case, I've got myself as logged in all day. So you select a table, in this case, table 4, and it's going to be dine in. You know, in a table situation, it's quite commonly pay later, so you just press send. And when they come up to pay later, you'll see here T4, table 4. We'll talk now about bill splitting. Best way to do that, when you open up the open orders here, there is a thing called split there, but please don't use that one. Just press the actual order and then press checkout and press split here. Okay? It gives you the option to split by price or split by product. If they just want to go 50-50 or even 3 ways, whatever, you just simply press split. It splits it mathematically in half. If it's 3 ways, there you go, obviously with a bit of rounding. And then you check those people out individually with cash or POS. If they were splitting by product, you press split by product here, and it brings up the items on there, and one of them is going to pay for the onion rings, so you just press that and then you check that out, and that'll leave that still outstanding. So that's how bill splitting is done. Well, I'm actually just going to add a few more items to this. Notice when we add items to an order, it brings them up here, and when we go send, it's only going to send the items that have been added. It won't send to the kitchen the orders that have already been sent. So once again, if we're splitting this, we go into open orders, we open up the order, we go checkout, and we go split. And in this case, we're going to split by product. And if we press the seafood chowder, one of those seafood chowders comes across, and the beer. So we check this out, and this person at $31.68, you can see the predicting money here, and so they gave me a $50 note. That'll leave the rest of those there because quite often they're in queue waiting behind. Otherwise, you can go exit split if people are coming back later, and then you go send again. Send also means hold. You never ever leave the system with the receipt open like this. Okay, make sure when you finish, this is blank, ready for the next person. So later on, those people come up to split further. We go orders, open it up. Notice how we've only got these items left. We check that out, and we press split items, and we're splitting by product. This one's just paying for the seafood chowder and the nachos. check that out with cash, exit split. By the way, press send. Later on, here it is here. I wanted to show you subtotal here. When you press subtotal here, it prints like a tax invoice. Call it a bill. If someone says, can you give me the bill? You press subtotal. There's only onion rings left on this order, so we're checking that out with cash. Also, if you have online here, if you're doing online, this is where you do things like temporarily shut off your online or change the prep time. I just wanted to talk about the layout of buttons and categories. So we're going to start exploring this stuff in this menu here with these little 3 bars. That brings down this menu. Sync is what you press. I'll do that now. That brings anything changes that have been made from the back office through to the POS. The owner could be, your manager could be sitting at home making changes, and they'll tell you to do a sync. Also in here we have preferences and arrange items. So you've got to start in the category that you want to arrange, and you just simply grab these little handles and move these things around where you want them. You can also grab the handles here to move these categories around where you want them. When you finish, go Save Layout. So if I wanted to change the layout at mains, I've got to be in mains first, then press this, go Preference, Arrange Items, and I can arrange that. And when I'm finished, go Save Layout. Also under Preferences, you can change the view. You can disable product images. You can have initials. This is where you can also manually update Lightspeed. And really, the only other thing that you'll ever use here is disable dark mode. You have light mode and dark mode. Dark mode's becoming very popular at the moment, and when the system updates, at the moment it's not automatically going back to dark mode. So if there's an update done, you have to go Preferences, Enable dark mode again. I realized just now I've forgotten to tell you another thing, is that if you wanted to apply some special notes to something like nachos, you can press that, and down the bottom here in the notes section, you can type away there and go Apply Changes. I forgot to show you that. So that's how you put special notes or free text. So I'm just going to delete that order. Going back to this menu here, we've gone through Preferences. History is where you go to look up historical sales, and you can search forever. You've obviously by default got today, and the very last sale is sitting right there. So the first one on the list will be the last sale we made, and you can search yesterday, past 7 days, or by receipt number, or even by product name that they were eating. So you find the receipt, and then you can press this cog and go email receipt or reprint. Or this is also where you do refund sale. So you press refund sale again, and the method. Now that only had one item in it. If I go to a bigger item like this, and I go refund sale, we have the choice here to refund all or pick some items. Like for example, if for whatever reason you needed to just refund the garlic bread, you just press the garlic bread and then you go continue and pick the method that it was done. Normally it'll be the method that originated. So that's how you do refunds. Under history, you've also got printing here, which normally you don't need to worry about unless something's being changed. So let's not worry about that on this discussion. You've also got takings. Takings is what you do at the end of the day or at the end of the shift. Takings are either done in a whole of site or register by register. If you've got integrated FPOS like Tyro, you don't need to worry about that. It can't be out. So in this case, we're only counting the cash. And the first glance here, it tells you this minus 94 is what basically the sales of cash amount to. So we add up all our money, and when we've finished, and there's obviously not going to be $94.16 because we're rounding. So you put in this box here, you press the counted. I don't recommend denominations. You press counted and type in what you've found for the day. You're allowing it to be 16 cents out. And it's very important that this figure be realistic, as in this is what's supposed to hit the bank, which makes the book bookkeeping a lot easier if this is accurate. If it's out, then that means the bookkeeper has to do a journal to account for that difference. So once you satisfy that, you press Finalize Takings. You can also go into Takings History to have a look at every historic day's finalised takings report. And the finalised takings is what used to be called a Z-read. If you have a look at this one, not yet finalised, will always be today's, and it'll give you a summary of what we are expecting from today. And in the old world is what was called an X-read. X stood for examine and Z stood for zero out. So that's takings. Accounts is where you can find customer accounts, and if you've got accounts enabled, you can take account payments and all sorts of other things. And money in and money out. Money out is where you need to take money from the till to buy something in a hurry, milk from the supermarket next door. Money in, you'll only ever do money in if you're increasing your float. Pretty straightforward. We've got add-ons, and you're not likely to ever need to touch any of this stuff unless you're in a setup phase, and that's for a broader discussion. So that's basically the crux and the essentials of operating the point of sale system in Lightspeed.